Yuu Asaka is known for his tricky packing puzzles, and this is one of his hardest. It's called Traffic 15, it came out last year, and with all his puzzles, they're named after the number, so there's 15 pieces in this one. The aim, as always, is to try and fit them into the frame. I mentioned it's a tricky one. It comes with a recommended solution time of an hour-and-a-half, making it definitely one of his harder ones. I don't have that much time today, so let's have a look at it and then see if I can get it solved. Okay, so this puzzle, you can see it's got 4 out of 5 on the terms of difficulty. On the back, this is what it's going to look like. So let's get this opened up. And as I mentioned, 15 pieces here to fit in. I think, as always with Yuu Asaka puzzles, the solution might have something that looks like it's going to be how it works, but it's probably not going to be how it works. So it looks like we've got some colored arrows here, and the tray, I just need to break into this. So we've got a tray here. As you can see, plenty of spaces for these arrows to fit in, or at least where they look like they're going to fit in to start with. But as I mentioned, it's probably not going to be what you first think. So an hour-and-a-half to solve this one. So you can see we've got red arrows here. They look like the straight ones, blue arrows, which look like the angled ones, and then we've got the two-way arrows, which are the yellow ones. So I can see straight away we could fit a red one in there. We could fit another red one there, and then that's pretty much about as far as we can go. But obviously lots of spaces for these arrows to fit into. So let's get a coffee and get into this. Okay, so I think I'm going to need this one today. I have done a few of these Yuu Asaka puzzles before, so I have got an idea of perhaps ways things might work. So I'm going to put this out there straight away and say possibly we're going to be having a look at some interlocking arrows like this perhaps, or something like that. And probably the pieces don't fit as you'd imagine they would fit. So obviously it looks like we've got 4 of these curved pieces. We've got 2 curved edges here. So I guess the obvious place to start would be trying some of these in here. And I don't know whether the arrows want to be fitted in first, or if we're going to try and fit all the white bits in around it first and then go for the arrows. And obviously we can flip these over so we can have them either way around. I guess that makes it a little bit harder. So we could try just having a bash to start with and see how we get on. So I think all the arrow heads are the same size, so that's going to make it marginally easier. But these ones that curve around a little bit seem like they're going to be a bit tricky. Or maybe that just doesn't want to go in that kind of area to start with. Let's try a back to front arrow there. We could have maybe this one in. I guess there's always also a possibility when you're doing these kind of puzzles that you just get it straight away. It's never happened to me, but it does seem like you possibly could end up in that situation. How about that one up there? And okay, we're going to need one of these pieces. And I think with the white pieces, they do fill up just about all the space. So it doesn't look like there's much room to play with in terms of angles and things like that. Just having a look at this, I wonder if we can flip that one over. I mean, it's looking pretty close here. It'd be pretty incredible if I managed to get it straight off the bat, but we've got 14 pieces in, just this little yellow one to go, and is there a way of just rearranging this slightly that might work? I think the blue pieces are the trickiest. They're the hardest ones to try and fit in, I think. Or the yellow one. Yellow and blue. The red ones seem to go in pretty easily. This yellow and blue seem to be a bit trickier, so what could we do here? I just have a feeling it's not going to be a case of just rearrange a couple of pieces and that's it, done. This one does have that hour-and-a-half solution time, so I'm not thinking it's going to be straightforward. Now, if it could be something a bit different, I'm wondering what it could be. So if we had these back-to-back arrows like this, then how do we fit those in around these pieces? So we could have it sitting like this, but then it's not going to work because all the white pieces pretty much have to be in the whole frame. It doesn't seem like you could just have a bit of a gap like this. Like this gap just isn't going to work. So to me, that isn't going to happen. And I'm just going to try something with these corners here. I wonder if it is possible to fit. So it does seem like the curved pieces have to sit in the corners. Like that seems like it is an essential part of this puzzle like this. Because otherwise, if we had a straight edge piece sitting there, unless it was to sit at an angle, could it possibly be something like this? Don't think so. No, I just don't think that's going to happen. So I think we've got to have these curved pieces sitting in a corner, and perhaps it is just a very challenging packing puzzle where these pieces are going to be just difficult to find the solution to. So notice like this one here has this curved arrow leading to, and then to match the curved arrow you have to have this cut out here so it's not got any depth to it. And that's got to be in the middle, so it'd have to be this one or this one, I think, because that's the only one that I have that has that cut out in that middle section. So let's go for that. No, let's go for that, because then it gives us more possibilities here. I guess we want to put all the possibilities that we have facing into the puzzle so that that gives us more options. I think the blues have to be in these sections here. So I've only got one left here, so I'd have to go into that one now. So I'll save that for later. The way the yellow has to work, it has to sit into one that goes has a little bit of depth, and then one that's just sitting straight on the edge. And to do that, it looks like all these pieces that go into the puzzle with that depth, looks like they've all sat in the middle. So again, we're having this similar problem to this one here, where the only way to get those pieces to fit together is to have these two. So I have a problem here, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to add up to a solution. We're just going to end up again with this problem where we do not have enough of the shallow pieces to fit over the arrow head. So that seems like it's going to be the problem here, and we need to find, I guess, an out-the-box solution to that problem. So how are we going to do it? I think what I'm going to do is going to try and find where these curved pieces can sit. Unless, of course, these pieces could sit outside of the white pieces. That would be a solution, wouldn't it? So if we had them something like this, where they're not sitting as you'd expect them to sit, that could work. Would that work? Almost, not quite. I'm just going to try and work out if there's some way that these pieces fit together that you're not going to expect. So it's the blue and the yellow ones really that are the issue. I can't see anywhere that they're going to fit that doesn't make sense initially. See, something like this perhaps. But then we need to fit something around there, so is that going to be possible? So it's always really tricky with these Yuu Asaka puzzles. Sometimes, in fact, they are just straight up packing. You've just got to do it the way you think you're going to do it. And it is just tricky to find a solution, which might be the case with this one. And sometimes it's a case of rearranging the pieces in a way that is just not what you're going to expect to start with. And I was fully expecting it to be a case of rearranging the pieces, the way that they perhaps don't like instinctively feel like they should go together, but it might not be the case at all. So here is the real problem. We've got 3 of these spaces that could potentially fit the yellow arrows in. So they can go in any of these ones, but you'll notice they're all sitting in the middle of these white blocks, which means they need a matching white block if we're going to arrange them all in a square format that has this cutout sitting in the middle. So this one would work, but with these cutouts here, I only have, this one has 2 of them, so we can go for either of these angles, but that is really it in terms of ones with it in the middle. So I guess you could have it like this. So that would work, but then the next problem is that we have these blue pieces and they can only fit, as far as I can tell so far, into these pieces with this gap. So this one sits like this, and I've got 2 more of them. This one here sits slightly off center, which is fine, but these 2 down here, they both sit central. And again, they need the matching piece, which is this one here, with that center cutout. I don't have those pieces. I just don't have any other pieces that can fit onto these, which leads you to believe that it must be something that's a bit different. So might just go back to trying to fit it in normally, although I know that's not going to work, so I don't know why I would go back to trying that. Scratch that, I'm not going to try it normally. Can't be all the curved pieces here. Ooh, look at this. Okay, something like this. So now it's just a case of trying to figure out which of these pieces. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the solution. So now it's just a case of, we still need to have two, I'm pretty sure, sitting in these corners. So we're going to have two curved pieces creating this space. So we could have something like this. And then how does the rest of it want? I think so maybe one of these cutouts at the bottom. I'm saying I'm very confident this is how it's going to work, but it doesn't seem to actually go together quite as I'd hoped. Okay, so I've been super convinced that my idea was correct in terms of the way that the pieces have to fit together, but I've just come up with a new idea. So how about they sit like this? So we could have this white piece sits quite nicely like that. The problem is that we have to fit a piece around it here, but we could then fit our yellow in, look like this. So this also feels like it could very possibly be the correct solution. So we have something like this. I mean, I don't think this is going to be perfect to start with, but something like this. And then we're going to need to get a piece here and a piece here. So that's going to be the problem. And it's really hard as well, I think, to get this to work like this and actually be able to fit another piece alongside it here. I feel like that might just be the stumbling block with this idea. So I think we're going to have to go with a curved piece down in these corners. So if we go with this looks like it's quite nicely set up for this angle idea. So we could have one of these pieces. Oh, there we go. That kind of works. And then we can fit a red one in there, look, like that. It's quite nice. But then it's just fitting something else onto here. I just don't know if that's possible. And let's just say we've got another piece, a square piece down here. Or hang on a second. There we go. Is this gonna work? How about that? How about that? How about, let's take these out for now. That's going to be horrible to try and fit something onto, but this idea here I like. This now definitely feels like the right solution. I'm 95% sure this is how it's going to go together. Oh yes, we could go in there. Okay, so how about that? Does that look feasible? Where's it gonna go? It could sit down the bottom. If we sit it up here, so now I need to fit some of these pieces in. So this one looks like it might fit there. Oh, this is feeling good. Okay, this might need a little bit of reorganization, but I feel like this has got to be close, right? But I don't seem to have any pieces. It's this one here. Could we take that out? That one fit in there. Then could we put this one in here? Is that gonna work? Okay, that could work like that. Yeah, that looks good. And then how did we have this? Over here. So I still think we're gonna have to have these curved pieces. So, okay, so even though it feels like we've got it here, it's still proving pretty difficult to actually. Now I've got a surplus of spaces for the blues to fit into. That one can go there, that one can go there. Okay, we've got all the pieces in there. Can the arrows fit in here? So let's start with the yellows, because I feel they're going to be the hard ones to do. So one in there, and how can we put this? Man, this is such a devious puzzle. So what can fit in here? That could fit in there. Have that there. Maybe. And then this one here. Okay. Okay, here we go. This one here, right. So we can fit a yellow in there. We can fit a red in here. We can fit a blue in there. And then we just need these last few pieces. So that one kind of has to go there. And this is not going to leave us enough space, I don't think. Oh man. There really doesn't feel like that many possibilities now at this point, because this one has to sit here. It could be flipped around the other way. So it could be flipped around this way. But then I think also we have this one can sit here, or in fact, this one or this one. So we just need to decide which of these pieces is going to be better in this position. So this one, which doesn't give you anything, or this one here. So it feels like this one here. And then that feels like it's got to be right. Then for this corner here, we can have either of these pieces. So we could have this one, which is not going to be very much help, whichever way around we go, or this one. So it does feel like that's got to be the way it goes. Then this one has to sit up here, and there only seems to be one way that can go, which is like this. Then here we can only fit this piece in, and then that leaves this one sitting here, but it's not enough space. Again, the yellow is going to be the problem. So this one can sit here. Wondering if moving these pieces around is going to make any difference. Is that going to make any difference to us? Let's try it. Okay. Yes, no, oh, it was over here before. Okay. So this one has to sit here. I don't think I've really done anything here. I think I've just moved things around in a not, oh no, okay. 2 yellows now. Actually, this is looking very good. Right. Let's start putting some of these pieces in. Yellow. Yellow, red, blue. Okay, so now all we need is to create a space for this, so we can get the blue in there, and we just need a space for the red. Where can the red go? Oh man. Okay, this one here. Oh yes, I've done it. There we go. Traffic 15 is solved. What a puzzle. That was definitely pretty tricky. A couple of possible solution angles that I was going for. Really cool puzzle. I'll leave a link as always in the description down below. So there we are, Traffic 15, a classic Yuu Asaka puzzle with that slightly odd solution to it. Not what you expect to start off with. Certainly a really tricky one to get to the solution for. I think this took about an hour and a half. I wasn't quite keeping track of it, but I think the guideline solution time was pretty accurate. I think if you haven't done any of Yuu's puzzles before, then this one would probably keep you stumped for a lot longer. A really tricky and devious little puzzle. I hope you've enjoyed watching it as much as I've enjoyed solving it and making this video, but that's it for today, and I hope to see you next time with more puzzles.